Hello, and welcome to my reading. I don't know, I really dig this right here. Okay. So, I've had a couple of sessions today, and they were really what I would call energetically pretty intense. So, a lot of information coming through, and helping people kind of resolve some things that are going on in their life. And it was a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie, like a little crazy. As in the intensity of it. So, and every time I had to talk about something that was unpleasant, I felt like I had a hand right here, kind of going like, don't do that, don't do that, don't say a word. And I'm like, I got to, though. So those things that I don't want to say, but we have to hear so that we can create our strategy for success. So, anyway, I'm using the Angels and the Ancestors deck. You know I love that deck. It's my deck where my little boyfriend is, and I'm like, I don't know where he's been lately. I'm like, he's been hiding somewhere. And then I got, well, I haven't been using that deck, so that doesn't give me opportunity to draw that energy in, so I'm like, so I kind of made my own bed there. So, anyway, it is the weekend, and there sure is a lot of junk in the air. There's a lot of junk in the air. It's made it kind of difficult for breathing a little bit for some people. So I've been using a lot of RC and a lot of from Young Living essential oils, and then a lot of Breathe from doTERRA. And so, it's at least it's keeping it all open, right? And that's what we want. Yeah, but I spent like several days with my throat was like really sore. Okay. We're almost there. I'm, like hoping for a couple of more cards, and we'll get it in there. So do me a big favor. Don't forget to love this video so other people get to see this, and comment. I always like to see where people are from, or what they're thinking about, what they think, whatever they want to, share. And then if you get an opportunity, share it. It's kind of cool. Okay, I think we got our cards. It's not giving me anything else. And I'll say this. I like, these are all upright. Let me put them the way they came out. So, oh, Jesse just scared me. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera over so you can see the first card. And I'm going to go shut that door so we don't disturb her. And that first card, Father Sky. Hey, beautiful, how are you? So Father Sky, and this talks about trust in the unknown. And we're going to call this Have a Little Blind Faith. Have a little blind faith. Often we are looking for things that are tangible, that we can see or we can touch, or that we have some kind of interaction with. And then when we look at this card right here and it says Father Sky, it's saying that sometimes things that you can't see, sometimes things that you can't touch, sometimes things that are just not tangible do create a catalyst and that's a good catalyst for change. So have some blind faith in this. So, it's kind of like the magical aspect of Creator coming in, and it's like, okay, here's some magic that's going to happen. Just trust. If you can't see it, that's fine. If you can't talk to it, that's fine. If you can't touch it, that's fine. Whatever. Just trust. Now, the obstacle is about you wanting to try to take control over it and be the hand that dominates, um, to be the hand that dominates through here, to be in control, to be point on with that. And that's an ego issue here. This is an ego issue. Because if we have blind faith coming in, which means that sitting back and allowing it to happen and just going, whoa, look, this is so cool, is the energy that's coming in, you are your own worst enemy here, because it's something that you still feel like you have to control all of that blessing, all of that good stuff, all that good vibe coming in. No, here, let me take it and control it and I'll dole it out or work with it, in my terms and in mine. And it's kind of like, no, you're supposed to sit back and let it flow. What happens is that's what you do. You kind of get yourself back in together, and put yourself back into alignment. It's kind of like you're about to, kind of like not make a good decision or not make good choices, because I'm going to say it like this. I got to flip the screen so you're looking at me. This is like when you're talking, when you're looking at something in your life and things are just really great and beautiful, and you're like, I don't know how all of this stuff that's so great and beautiful occurs in my life, because, like, I don't work really hard to make it happen. I just do my thing, and and these good things happen. And then when you're examining it, like, up front, you start to freak out. And so you want to gain, that's where this card comes in. And you want to, like, put your fingerprint or put some control to it. There's something about it that creates a sense of vulnerability in your spirit. And a lot of times that's, because you're like, how about you don't think that you're good enough to have good things happen, where indeed good things happen because you are a really uber cool good person. And when you think negatively about yourself, it changes that vibration. I was reading something and they were trying to say stop saying that Jesus would, and I was like, Jesus was all about vibration and frequency, regardless of what anybody says. So, Bible thumper or not, that really makes me mad when they really just want to make him like he was very cut and dry. He wasn't like that. He wanted to look at things from many perspectives. And that's where this card finally comes in. So it's like you realize that you cannot be out there willy-nilly all over the place looking at things in abstract perspectives, which means exaggerated or, really not in a reality. It's just crap you're dreaming up in your head. And this is that energy that pulls you back into alignment. And so when we're back in alignment, we're going to see things with a much clearer perspective. That third eye is going to work really great. Okay, where does all this stuff lead to? How about a little bit of wisdom? And that wisdom to be able to move on from that little self-imprisonment of not thinking that you're good enough for good things to happen. Or, question the tangibility of, and I'm just going to say I'm getting the tangibility of abundance. Why do you have to question where abundance comes from? Unless, and I'm going to say, unless it smells a little tainted, I mean, that's one thing. But if you're doing alright, so I'm going to say, like, alright, let's say you're working at Olive Garden and you're waiting tables at Olive Garden. And that night, you're making just like phenomenal cash tips on the table. Phenomenal. Okay? And you go home and you got like $600-700 in your pocket, and you're like, how did I do that? Okay? And you're questioning, how did I do that? Well, how about your service was so phenomenal that people rewarded or felt generous to share into your vibration, and that was the ending result. So you mean it was like you went up a sevenfold or whatever, whatever amount in that. It was like, we are what we vibe. And if we notice that we're getting rewards, abundance, prosperity, cool things, we're in a place where we're digging life, we're in a good relationship, stop questioning your validity in that situation. You are worthy. You are worth every beat, every vibe of that goodness that's coming in. And so it's like being your own worst enemy is like throwing that wrench in there, saying it's not worth it, you're not worth it. But this card here, when we see the grandma, one of the grandmas here visiting, we know that we are at this point, at this time, that we are able to look deep into it and understand, well, maybe we were abandoned. Maybe we were rejected when we were once, young and young and beautiful. And abandonment can be so traumatic, and abandonment comes in, 1,000 different forms. Abandonment, we can have abandonment when a parent doesn't talk to us for 3 weeks. Even though we're living in the same house with them, under the same roof, that is an abandonment and part of that connection that parent and child carries. So, these things, little isolated events can create the way that we view ourselves. And this in here is saying that we're able to work through this need to control the untangible, and that we actually can get to the root of the problem and heal and move on and grow from it, and then maybe share on with somebody else. Hey, this was my experience, and I want to share it with you so that maybe you don't have to go through the same junk I did, Be kind of cool. Alright, shapeshifter. I love it when shapeshifter shows up, because that means that something dramatic, excuse me, is going to change body, mind, and spirit. Something dramatic is about to change body, mind, and spirit. It may be a new hairdo. It may be throwing on some, nails. You haven't worn nails forever. It may be a new gig, a new work, a new place of employment. And it may be a new partner, but something dramatic is about to change in your life, body, mind, or spirit. That can feel really overwhelming for some people to think about change. Change can be really freaking scary. Hey, Jack, happy Friday back to you too, my friend. So, just remember that you are riding on that untangible, looking at this, that untangible blessings and good thing, that good vibe. It's untangible. You can't see where it's coming from. Hey, hello show, how are you? So go with that flow, okay, and allow yourself to Shohana. I love that. And allow that to flow. Okay, so that's a really Groovy, groovy, groovy card. I'm really happy to see that. But it's dramatic. It's a dramatic change. It's a 180. And, that 180 is a dramatic change because it's on the other end of that spectrum there. The only issue that it is be more mindful to placing your protection on. Be more mindful with how you work. Be mindful in the way that you prepare yourself, body, mind, especially spirit. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate you very much. So be mindful, and and I'm gonna say, all right. So let's say you go on a Tinder date or a Grinder date, or whatever. Make sure you have your condom. Girls, there's cervical condoms as well. Just make sure it's I'm getting wear a glove when you love. Define that, but protect yourself, body, mind, and spirit. There's especially when you're riding high on a vibe, there's always something or somebody that wants to mess with your vibe and bring you down a notch or two. Roll with that grooviness, okay? Roll with it. Go with that flow. But make sure that you have your, and I was going to say, you can take this in reality, or you can take this metaphorically, or literally, or metaphorically. Make sure you got a little glove in your, a love glove in your wallet, in your bag, in your purse, whatever. Females too. We've got cervical condoms as well. But you need to make sure that you are protected, and that you are also protected emotionally, and mentally, and that you are also protected spiritually. Again, when you are riding high on a vibe, and remember right here, this is riding high on a vibe and going into a drastic change, that things want to bring you down a notch. And this is not saying per se that something's going to come and bring you down a notch, but this is saying, okay, be mindful of be mindful of of that kind of energy. This reminds me of a story back when I was a teenager, and I think I was in 8th grade. And I was over at my friend Barbara's house, and Barbara's dad was a car mechanic, and I was spending the night over there, and we were going to go to the Oklahoma State Fair. And so this is in the late 1978, 1979, something like that. And her father's giving us because he's going to drop us off out there, I believe, if I remember correct. So he's telling us things that we can and cannot do, and what we should and should not do, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and do not talk to the carnies. The carnies are very, very, very bad people. They do very bad things, and I want you to be protected from the carnies. And so I'm just kind of sitting there, and I cock my head to the side, and I look at him, and I'm like, Mr. Parks, my dad's a carny. And he just looked at me like, what? And I went, no, just kidding. My dad's an engineer, But it was just so funny to sit there and think about this dad. And that's what this card made me feel like when I'm looking in there. It flashed back to that, and it's kind of like, all right, these people are really, really, really bad, or this is a really, really bad situation. And you kind of look and you go, I'm from that situation. I know that person, or whatever. Sometimes we don't realize that we might be in the midst of things that we really shouldn't be in, whether we do it out of love or we do it out of obligation. And this is kind of like an opportunity for our growth to happen when we start just trusting in some untangible divine kind of intervention and going with that flow, that we really do learn some very valuable lessons about ourselves, that we can resolve those little quirkies into it and move on and be really more authentic and beautiful, groovy people. We're representative of who we really are on the inside. Life is never meant to be very easy, and it's about a lot of experiences. And often we know that our end result is going to be in a particular place, but life is about making those choices to if you're going to take this path or you're going to take that path. So sometimes we feel a lot of sadness or attachment to choices that we made that maybe weren't the greatest things, and we just need some resolution. And that's what this energy is inviting us to do. The energy coming in this weekend is asking us for to trust and allow those resolutions of some of those past quirky issues that we have to resolve, so that we can be really cool, groovy people. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. I had a lot of fun reading for you guys or with you guys. Thank you, Jack, so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate the stars, and that's another way that you can show your kudos and your financial and love support, is through the star systems here on Facebook. It's kind of cool. I really dig that. So peace, love, and harmony. I'll see you guys very soon.